Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer. We are back in online action. As you can see, I've got a nice force of Gobbos here. We are facing off against the Empire. So with all the new factions, getting the regiments renowned and everything, there's been lots of excitement for those factions, and understandably so. This one I just wanted to get back to the roots, so my opponent locked in as Empire. I decided I'd face him as the Greenskins, so we'll go for the classic matchup one more time. You can see I've got a Gobbo force led by Skarsnik. We'll go ahead and put it in slow motion here. We also do have these two Goblin Wolf Rider archers getting some nice harass done on these flagellants here on the flank, and their lack of armor piercing won't be an issue at all against these unarmored flagellants. So very good for me. The main line's Night Goblins, and with the two regiments of renown, of course, the Peak Loonies and a Warlord's Boys. We've also got a Night Goblin Shaman who's got Sneaky Stealin', Madcap Mushrooms, Gork'll Fix-It, Itchy Nuisance, and Sneaky Stabbin'. So Skarsnik's got his Prada, he's got the Tricksy Traps, Spite of the Bad Moon, Wog, and Stand Your Ground. So the speed and charge bonus buff, as well as the expert charge defense, and the Prada, of course. I've got a Nasty Skulker on each flank, and let's see, we've got here in the back that I'm going to forget about momentarily, the Rusty Heirs, as well as these Night Goblin Archers. On each flank, I've also got a mobile force of Moon Howlers on this flank, just regular Goblin Wolf Riders on that flank, but we've also got the Spider Riders and the Squig Herd, and a Mirror on this flank. A lot of my troops do have chevrons because, of course, goblins are pretty cheap, so I had some leftover funds to make some of my troops a bit better. You can see with the 3 silver chevrons, these Night Goblins go up to 33 attack and 30 defense, so almost, almost on par with Empire Swordsmen, I would say. They're 32 and 32, if I remember right. Their leadership is much lower, but of course they do have 120 models as opposed to only 90 of regular swordsmen, so that does mean they're better overall. And they also have poison, of course, which is very, very important. So for my opponent's force, he does have Boris Todbringer, which is, of course, always a good pick. Lots of flagellants, 2 flagellants on each flank, one of them being a Tattersouls. He's also got a Great Sword and the Sigmar's Sons, as well as a Steam Tank, unit of Spearmen with shields in the back, protecting the Hammer of Witches. He's also got a Jade Wizard Lore of Life, and let's take a look. He looks quite kitted out. So he's got, of course, the Life Bloom Lore attribute, Earthblood, Regrowth, and the Dwellers Below, which I've been seeing a lot of recently, as well as a Scroll of Leeching and a Scroll of Shielding. So very good stuff. And we'll go ahead and kick things into full gear here. Of course, I also do have the Hammer of Gork firing in. And yeah, let's go ahead and kick it into high gear. So you can see over here, these Reiksguard not getting the charge off, unfortunately. Very bad for them. They will be able to beat down the Moon Howlers, but we're going to get the Spider Riders in for support, for some poison as well, and then bring in the armor piercing from the Squigs. A bit late with the Squigs, but it's all good. Over here, this Dwellers Below going down and absolutely massacring my forces on this flank, so I definitely see what people are talking about with this spell now. After watching that, I mean, those units got almost completely wiped out, so it did do a bit of damage to Boris as well, and to these flagellants, but absolutely completely wiped out my mobile contingent there. So wow, that was that spell really is legit. So here in the center, Sigmar's Sons facing up against Night Goblins. They're gonna get beat down pretty hard with Skarsnik in here as well. The Great Swords will fare a little bit better, but actually they're matched up against the Warlord's Boys, which is one of the few units in this build they don't want to be matched up against because they will be able to sunder their armor down to 65. Which means, you know, they'll be doing quite a bit more damage than a normal Night Goblin unit. Still probably not a one-to-one trade. The Warlord's Boys will definitely lose, but still, out of all the Night Goblins, the Great Swords could have fought. That was probably the worst one. So you can see some nice buffs going down. We've got an Itchy Nuisance over here. We're also dropping here, it looks like my opponent's dropping an Earthblood, Wog, and other abilities being popped from Skarsnik, of course. I'm keeping these Nasty Skulkers here, just mirroring Boris's movements, making sure I stay on him. He hasn't discovered these archers yet, of course, because they have stock. Over here, this Night Goblin has tied up all these flagellants and is going to allow these the Goblin Wolf Rider archers to fire in from the flank here and do quite a bit of damage. Again, they don't need the armor piercing there. Steam Tank has gotten in over on this flank and is going to be terrifying away a lot of these mobile units, which is unfortunate because they were otherwise winning quite decisively against this Reiksguard. I do have this Nasty Skulker in here as well against the Steam Tank. They're going to be dishing out a bit of armor-piercing damage, but because of their low leadership, they're going to be somewhat susceptible to terror, and they'll probably be routing shortly. Across the line, the Flagellants actually, although you would think they'd be a good pick against the Night Goblins, because the Night Goblins just have so many more unit models and the Flagellants lack armor completely, with the Itchy Nuisance mitigating their combat stats, the Night Goblins are actually able to somewhat win this fight here in the center, so very impressive. Of course, the 8-peak loonies are unbreakable, so that would be a bit of a better trade against the Flagellants, but still, here in the center, the Sigmar Suns are pretty much almost gone, and Skarsnik is able to pull through, and he's going to be able to get on this cannon here. We've got a Goracle Fix-It. I was attempting to lock down this caster here, but it didn't do quite what I wanted it to. So he's going to be able to get to the side here, and this Night Goblin Shaman is in a bit of trouble, going to get charged down by Boris, and yeah. So far, things are not looking great for me. The balance of power is slightly in my opponent's favor, but we'll go ahead and kick things back into full speed. You can see the Terror now taking hold on this flank, routing off a lot of those units, which is a bit unfortunate. But over here in the center, things are faring somewhat better. We've just about mopped up all the Flagellants. And here, despite being very low on leadership, these Gobbo archers are continuing to fire away and do some nice damage into the flank of those Flagellants. You can see a smoke bomb there, locking down the Jade Wizard, as well as locking down Boris Todbringer, and this is a bad situation for Todbringer. He is right in this Gobbo firing line, being poisoned, being shanked by the nasty Skulkers, having his armor sundered, and look at that burst damage! 90 arrows just hitting him right in the face, and he's going to actually go down. Look at that! Oh man, Boris just in a big hurry gets absolutely slaughtered by the Gobbo firing line, so actually gets taken down. So a word of warning to all Empire players, don't get too cocky against greenskin force like this. You might get ambushed by missiles and taken out. So you can see the Great Swords having followed through on those Warlords boys, going to be getting on these Rusty Airs, so that killing the General did somewhat tip the balance power back in my favor. However, a lot of my opponent's forces are unbreakable, so it is going to be somewhat tough to clean them up. I'm going to have to kill them the old-fashioned way rather than breaking them on morale. These Reichsguard, a lot of my units did regroup over on this side because the steam tank, left. So we're going to be able to get on these Reichsguard with the Squigs and the Force Goblin Spider Riders, and they'll definitely lose that fight in a big hurry. Here in the center, we're just getting on these Great Swords with the nasty Skulkers, and with the Great Swords already low on manpower, and they're tired, and they're have this engagement where a lot of them are kind of getting hit in the back and getting wrapped around. It's going to be very, very bad for them. They're actually losing quite decisively now, especially with the poison from and the sundering and everything. Oh, just a terrible situation. You can see the Flagellants did mop up those Night Goblins there, but they've taken quite a bit of damage in the process and are now in a very bad position, being caught out in the open. Over here, Skarsnik is a bit singled out here. He's getting smacked around by the cannon and by all these spearmen, but, he does have armor-piercing anti-large, so he will be able to dish quite a bit of damage back to the cannon. You can see each hit he does there, chunking away the cannon at a pretty decent rate, so yep, he's going to be fairly safe, though, with the Jade Wizard still alive. He's probably going to have magic still to heal the steam tank, at least he would hope so. The Jade Wizard is going to charge into these Night Goblins, do some nice damage, and the Hammer of Witches is actually back online and is firing into this fight. I was okay with it just because I was thinking maybe it would get some friendly fire on this steam tank, but you can see sneaky stabbing going on Skarsnik just to give him a bit of extra armor piercing to help do some damage to the steam tank. We do have the Squigs in here pinning it down, doing armor piercing damage as well, but you can see the steam tank is taking quite a while to go down. So we're going to get the Night Goblins, or excuse me, I keep calling them Night Goblins. They're just regular Goblins, the Wolf Rider Archers. We're going to get them on this cannon just to shut it down. It's been firing for far too long. We are going to get a smoke bomb here on this steam tank in case it tries to run away from Skarsnik and these Gobbo firing line, which it definitely wants to. It is taking quite a bit of damage now. It has sundered still 130 armor, even after being sundered. But, the armor piercing of a lot of these units will help. And, of course, being unbreakable, the 8-peak loonies, all two of them, are continuing to chase. Very cool. And, yeah, the Hammer Witch is finally being shut down by those Wolf Rider Archers. And the Tattersoul's barely hanging in, only a few unit models left, but they will, they'll actually take some damage from those Wolf Rider Archers despite their poor combat stats. So, trying to get another Goracle Fix-It on this steam tank to keep it from running away, but I should have cast it a little closer here because as it moves away from the area of effect, you can see the effect will indeed stop. So just continuing to fire in and whittle away at this steam tank. At this point, my opponent's doing a good job of, microing it around and just charging into different units, trying to not let me get clean shots, but at this point it's taking quite a bit of fire here from these Goblin missiles. And as I say, guys, you'll hear me say this often, although this unit doesn't have great armor piercing, the volume of fire here is enough. Even one armor piercing, you know, is enough that, given all these units firing at the same time, it will do quite a bit of damage. So you can see here the steam tank is now charging through the archers and just going to continue on through, or nope, looks like he's turning back around. He definitely wants to continue on through, though. He does not want to stay and take this fight. If he wants to try and use up all the ammo, he's going to have to get quite far away, but it's going to be tough. Over here, these Spider Rider archers finally finished off the Jade Wizard and are routing him off, so we'll go ahead and fast forward through this endgame here as the circus music plays. We get goblins chasing around this steam tank here. So my opponent now going back after this Hammer of Gork, which is probably a good plan. It is something that can potentially take him out with the armor-piercing rocks it lobs. But you can see here, after he routes it off, he just pulls away. He's trying to rout off all my mobile units here. We do get another Gork will fix it, which slows him down somewhat, but not going to allow me to catch him, unfortunately. However, we do get the Hammer of Gork back online, so it's going to be firing away, and although it won't make great contact, it will occasionally get one or two rocks in there, and, you know, any damage at this point is going to help take down that steam tank. You can see the Prodder also going off, doing quite a bit of damage, actually. The steam tank's now only down to 69 hit points, so like one rock or just a few arrows actually would help take it down. So we're going to continue to fast forward. You can see still 3 minutes left of me just chasing this steam tank around, and at this point I'm not sure if my opponent was trying to draw kite me or, you know, what exactly he was thinking, but probably just trying to set up into a position where he can actually fire from. But you know, even right now, like, he should be turning and firing on those Wolf Rider archers. He still has a ton of ammo left, so these Night Goblin archers, though, they are on stock, so he can't necessarily see them. So he's gonna come over here and try and get on these Goblin Wolf Rider archers. However, because he doesn't see these Goblin archers until it's too late, we are going to get him to open fire. And let's go ahead and get this in cinematic view here as these Gobbos get the final volley. And with that many arrows, despite having great armor, that is enough to blow up the steam tank. So very well played to my opponent. Definitely enjoyed that. Aside from that possible draw kiting at the end, I'm not going to, you know, cast aspersions on people and say that that was draw kiting, but, you know, that's not really good behavior in online play. I mean, there's nothing to stop you from doing it currently. I hope CA will implement a system soon that will stop people from doing that. But, you know, it's just not really good sportsmanship, in my opinion, and I'm very much a believer in good sportsmanship and, you know, treating your opponent with respect and everything. So I'm not going to say that it was draw kiting, but it kind of seemed like draw kiting. But regardless, was able to pin him down, and with those stock archers, you know, deal enough damage to finish it off. So in my build here, you know, the Night Goblins trading actually really well. These are great numbers for Goblins to be getting against humans. Overall doing very well. 91 on the 8 Peak Loonies is very good. The Warlord's Boys only 25 kills, but you got to remember those are 25 great swords. So very good stuff. Hammer of Gork getting some good work done as well. And of course the Wolf Rider Archers racking up quite a few kills. Normally you don't see them get a ton of kills, but against those Flagellants, just unhindered firing into the flank there, they got quite a lot of kills. So the mobile units didn't do a lot. Mostly were just there to help take out cavalry, which they somewhat did. In the firing line, of course, proving essential in felling Boris, as well as felling the steam tank. This archer actually got a chevron out of it, so very impressive. And the steam tank, 200 kills and a chevron, very impressive. If you were going to bring a steam tank, you need it pretty much to perform at this level, because it's a very, very expensive unit. The Hammer of Witches did okay, probably not super cost effective in the end, just because it was firing a lot of the time at the Hammer of Gork. And Reichsguard here, 92 kills, again mostly low-value Gobbo units, not really super impressive. 103 on the Great Swords and 106 on the Tattersouls is decent. You know, you would hope that they would get that many against Goblins. The rest of the units, these kill totals, at least these two, might seem pretty high, but honestly, against Goblins, that's not a lot. Same with the Sigmar Sons and the Flagellants. Man, the Sigmar Sons got tore up pretty bad by that Hammer of Gork before they even got into combat, and they just got slaughtered, so fun game. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. I definitely enjoyed playing it. If you like the content, like the video and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and I appreciate all your support. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.